Hello Excel users, welcome to this instructional video in which I'll be giving a demonstration on how to put custom error bars onto a bar chart in Excel. Now in this example I have been on some field work and I've collected some wolf's blood, and I want to know whether there's more serum immunoglobulin A, a cofactor in resistance to parasites, will in fact be stronger in males or females. Now, looking at it, I'd say that there's more serum immunoglobulin A in female wolf's blood. However, I still want to see how precise my estimate of these means are. So for males, I estimated a mean of 50, for females 80. And you'll see these were based on different sample sizes, as there was blood from 6 males and there was actually blood from 7 females. As you can see in my caption or figure legend, whatever you want to call it, here I'm very detailed. I give absolutely as much information that's possible that's relevant to the study. So here it's concentrations of serum immunoglobulin A in wolf's blood. Now I say when I obtain the data, I say for what groups within the variable I collect the data for and what bars they represent on the graph. I even include the specific sample sizes for each group, so any reader can tell that the total sample size was 13 by adding them together, but for these that was the N for these groups. I even say that they're in the same pack just in case that's relevant to the study that I'm doing. And then I would say bars show means plus or minus standard error. So given that I haven't said this is mean IgA concentration, I have in the caption, so that's not needed to be said on the axis. It keeps them cleaner and less cluttered. So now getting back to the standard error. So this helped me create my chart here, my graph. I now want to add custom error bars to it. So I start with the other error bars in Reach, where I can get at them. Go into chart elements. I scroll down to error bars. You'll notice, by the way, I've taken grid lines off. I've added my axis labels and I've made them larger. I've increased the size. I've put tick marks on. I've highlighted the axes and given outlines to the bars. I've done various things to neaten up this graph so that it's more presentable. So I want to be on error bars here. Now if you just click error bars, you'll see that you get 2 large ones exactly the same. But that doesn't mean anything because it's not taking any data from anywhere. If you click on standard error, they don't change either. So whatever Excel's doing, it doesn't know the standard error for these data, because you've only just told it to plot this mean of 50, which it does happily. But you need to tell it what standard error to take. So if you custom and specify value, now I want to just make sure that this is in view. Remember, standard error is plus and minus around the mean. It says this is how much your mean could be up to this top bar or down to the lower bar. So you need to specify that it was, because it needs to know it for the male and the female, so it will be different for each one. It needs to know that for the positive and the same again for the negative. Yeah. So you highlight them both for the positive and the negative error values, because it needs to be plus 10 on this one, plus 10 up and plus 10 down. You'll see that was 50. It now goes, error bar runs to 60 and 40. And this one also needs to go plus 5 up and down. So that you note that they're different sizes now, according to these different sizes in the standard error. So we could suspect that because we actually had one less subject in our sample for the males, between the males and the females, we had 6 compared to 7 because we had one less subject. That may have increased this standard error, but that could also mean that the males were more variable anyway. We could have had males that had 60 but also that had 40, so we can be that precise well, we can be that confident that our mean is within these bars, and that confident that our mean is within these bars. So we could have more confidence in our precision for the female group there. That's basically what standard error means. So if you're wondering about comparing something to another volume or another even unit size, you might need to do some calculations as we did in the lab, but some of you didn't get onto this. So if this is for every 1 milliliter, this is still micrograms here to micrograms. So if you needed to scale it up, that would just be 100 times. Sorry, you would start by typing equals. You want this mean concentration, micrograms per milliliter, all the way up to 100 micrograms for every 100 milliliters. So you would just multiply that cell by 100 to get that. That might be familiar. And if you now want it going to stay per every 100 milliliters volume that you measure, but you want it to not be in micrograms anymore, but milligrams, you then need to convert this value. Now it will be divided by 1,000, because remember there's 1,000 micrograms in a milligram, 1,000 milligrams in a gram. So if you wanted to actually go and do that to be how many grams there are for every 100 mil, you would do that divided by another 1,000. So 0.005 grams. But we're not really interested in that. We are interested, for the graphs, we're interested in these concentrations because we're measuring in micrograms per milliliter. But if we want to compare something to, let's say we've got 100 milliliters of a different wolf's blood that we needed to compare it to, we could compare it in milligrams to that if that was what was printed on our label, for example, or we needed to compare it somehow. Okay, hopefully this video has been helpful, and I'm still happy to answer any questions. Thank you.